What if you weren't allowed to die until your 100th birthday? Would you be more careful? Careful about what, exactly? Less careful. Less careful about what, exactly? Well, after 51 some odd years, okay, mostly odd years, I got some insight into that. And I believe it's the same mindset as what you need to run 100 miles. Life's a big goal, which by and large you tackle in bite-sized chunks. During a 100-mile run, you should try not to think about how far you have to go until you're at least two-thirds of the way through it. But no matter where you are, how far you've gone, never waste time. That much is the same both in running and in life. Welcome to Pushing 100. I'm Adam 12, radio rat, podcaster, ultra runner, beer drinker, dog dad. If you listen to me on the radio or my last podcast, Pushing 50, welcome back. We're still going to rock. We're still going to help each other do more stuff while taking less crap, but we're going to have a little more fun with it this time and give you some more of a how-to on how to get to both 100 miles and 100 years. Now, all this being said, there is a podcast which I edited for Novice Studios here in Charlotte, same company that produces this show. It's called The Millennial Nutritionist, but the directive applies to everyone in every generation, I think. So Isla Garcia, who's the host of that show, she talks a lot about the boring stuff. Do the boring stuff, she says. Eat right and exercise. That's the seemingly ancient saying, right? The boring stuff helps you get away with the exciting stuff. Now, to do the boring stuff, especially after the first week of the new year, you got to get past, I don't feel like it. You're not going to feel like it a lot of the time, especially when it's this cold. But once you get out there and get going, you're going to find that feeling goes away sooner than you thought it would. And if you just keep doing it, it's going to be a lot easier to get past that feeling and get out there in the first place. I get asked at least once a week about my next race. What's your next race? And we'll talk plenty about races because I want to, get you into ultra running. I think that anybody who can walk normally can run an ultra. But for now, let's talk about the goal. The real point of all these races and all the training is to not have to wear that fall risk bracelet 25 years from now or ever. And what gets you there, as a rule, is the training, not the races. I think we think too much about the exceptions and focus too little on the rules. If you want to not slip in the shower at the age of 75, the rule is to work on your core and strengthen your legs. That might not be easy, but it is simple. The simple stuff, the boring stuff, is what to focus on. Don't look for hacks or tricks. Those are the exceptions. And never focus on genetics or hereditary matters. You can't control those, so they shouldn't be used as excuses. Do the basics. Do them a lot. That's the key to endurance, which is the key to healthy aging. Getting old sucks. I really don't think it has to. I mean, if you told me when I was in my 20s that I'd be running 100-mile races in my 50s, well, you wouldn't have told me that if you knew me back then. Even though those who did would probably tell you I sound and, for the most part, act the same way now as I did back then. But for every things change, we can equally, and if necessary, oppositely make things change. I didn't start running till I was 45. You can sound the same and act the same at 45 or 55 as you did at 25 or 35, but if you're not doing different things or doing things differently as the years go on, well, then getting old will suck. As for something that does suck, I think we can all agree, short work weeks. And this has been a really busy one, so I'm going to keep the show very, very brief today. Just one more bite-sized chunk before you leave this here aid station. If you weren't allowed to die until your 100th birthday, I'm betting you'd pay a lot more attention to how you lived. Please think on that before we do this again, all right? This is Pushing 100. I'm Adam 12. On Facebook, it's Pushing 100 Podcast. On Instagram, it's Adam 12. So Adam, the numbers 12, Sweat Hog, Adam 12 Sweat Hog. Have a great weekend, and I'll hear you next Friday.